So I would like to request Mr. Saurabh Palsania, who is the ex-director of Dalmia Cement. Mr. Palsania, you have been with Dalmia Cements, and you know that I mean, we all recognize the contribution of cement industry in terms of co-processing of packaging waste, which I mean, there are a lot of things that cement industry co-processes, but we are specifically talking in the context of the waste which is not of any use and it then is destined for cement kilns. So, what is your experience over the years as a co-processor, and what are the things that you think would facilitate, more and more quality plastics coming to cement industry? Number one. Number two, how do you foresee that the scaling of initiatives like Swachh Bharat Mission, segregation of waste at source, is going to help cement industry? Although we understand that the regulation wants the material to be recycled as a first choice, and co-processed and waste to energy should be at the tail end of it. But from your perspective, because there are issues also. I mean, it is not easy for cement industry to co-process that. That's what we know. But what are the challenges that you foresee, and how these kind of initiatives would further scale our efforts towards Swachh Bharat? Over to you, sir.
So happy morning to all of you, and thanks for providing opportunity to share the challenges or to share the contribution of cement industry in plastic waste co-processing. So, I mean, as a cement industry, see, we have been connected. We have been into this business since long since the start of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, when we were asked to contribute for collection and co-processing of such waste across India. And since our presence as a cement industry, Dalmia Cement is present in 10 states as of now. And we have got 10 kilns, 10 locations where we are processing. We have set up a state-of-art technology, plants where we have also invested in co-processing equipments. So when this idea, it was being shared with us in the office of the secretary, Mahua, and we were, many of the cement industries were also there, and some of the, NGOs and maybe the other contributors were sitting across. It was, we thought it to be a very challenging affair, how to co-process such waste, which is nothing but mixed municipal waste. And it's, people used to call them SCF, that is segregated combustible fraction, while it was not even SCF. So RDF is the second stage of SCF, while we were not getting SCF also. But then to support the Swachh Bharat mission, we all joined hands together and started seeing the possibilities of how it can be co-processed in our kilns. And at that moment of time, there were no specialized equipments installed to co-processing the same. So you have rightly said that the source segregation as of now also is at a very niche stage, and many of the municipal corporations, and especially I will talk about the southern municipal corporations, I think that are at the very advanced stage of they are very active and trying to develop themselves for source segregation, and some of them are very efficiently working. While in other states, we'll find that it's still it is to be explored, or it's still something has to be done on the ground floor. And especially in Andhra, especially in secondly in Tamil Nadu, things are things are moving fast. And we are also having almost in Andhra and you can say in southern parts of India, we are having almost tie-ups with 70 municipal corporations. And we have also installed, say, baling machines and trying to contribute towards the co-processing segregation at source also. But I'll say that 2018-19 was a start of all these activities from cement industries. And we were contributing to the extent of 1% of the thermal substitution rate at that moment of time. And today, with the joint efforts of municipal corporations, pharma industries, chemical fertilizer industries, automobile industries, FMCG industries, and many other PROs and all, we have been able to reach to 20% thermal substitution rate on an average. That means that somewhere we are operating at 35% TSR and maybe somewhere at around 12 to 15% TSR. And that is where, we have come a long way in last 3-4 years. Just to share you that we are processing almost, say, overall waste of 70,000 tons per month across our 10 states. And maybe that out of that, 25 to 30,000 tons is plastic. And where, we are thankful for the support from municipal corporations as well as FMCG companies, where they are our customers, though, but without them, we cannot contribute towards it. And simultaneously, various PROs who have been putting day and night to collect such material and deliver it to us, maybe on account of FMCG companies or directly serving to us. One first point is that we need to have like in industries, we have got a BIS system where Bureau of Indian Standards controls the quality. So one is that how that quality is being controlled. There are certain, say, guidelines for segregation at source and for the specification of the plastic waste or RDF that is available. If those guidelines are also framed for, like it is framed for cement or many other products, if those guidelines are framed for municipal waste or plastic waste also, I think we need to go to that extent that how those processing should happen. What should be the guideline to process those plastic waste or segregated combustible waste, so that quality products can be delivered, whether it is to the cement industries or to the recyclers. Second is that we need an infrastructure where people who are into machine supply, manufacturing of machinery and equipments, that they standardized the equipments like trommels and maybe air separators, or maybe all those, ballistic machines and all that, which can be manufactured in such a way that it can also remove the moisture out of it. It can also segregate it in a 100% way. The sand content or the iron content or any other waste can be segregated in a best possible way. And those machineries can also be standardized. Like in European countries, those, the process that's a real RDF. We have been got an opportunity to go and see that. And that's a real RDF that they are getting. And that's why they are reaching up to, and they have 100% replaced coal in their cement kilns. And we are, struggling at the level of, say, 20% of TSR, 20% replacement only. And similarly, they have also developed, there are certain, we have installed chlorine bypass systems in our units in Belgaum and Kadapa, whereby we are able to take out that chlorine dust from plastic waste as well as from the other waste that we are getting. So similarly, separation of chlorides, and more so when separation of ash content from such plastic and RDF, which is a major, say, obstacle for using it to a higher extent. Whenever the ash is high, we cannot use it in kiln because that doesn't make a clinker out of it. And that ultimately goes into the as a waste only. While I'll say that kiln is cement industry is the biggest, you can say, scavengers across India, as the kiln, which we can call it as a Neelkant, and can absorb anything inside it because it is running at a temperature of 1400 degrees Celsius, and it is converting everything into either a product or ash. So nothing is emitted into the environment, and that's why it's most environment friendly. So one thing is that, and second is that the guidelines that we are coming up, maybe the NREP policy, which is National Resource Efficiency Policy, which says that polluters have to pay for it. And I think for that, the EPR framework is already in place. And now how those EPR framework is being executed at ground and how the things come up at the ground, that will be very important for recycling of plastics and for the recyclers too, and the industry like us also, and also the generators of such plastic waste. Now, similarly, we need to work on the ocean plastics also, where there are a lot of, say, places, tourist places across India, where a lot of plastics gets accumulated, and how that can be recovered, and it is being transported to, maybe to the recyclers or to the cement industries. That's a very important area where still a lot of efforts are to be made. And for that, definitely, I'll say that the state governments who are collecting revenues out of the tourist expenditures, that needs to be again recirculated for creating a circular economy from ocean plastic waste, or we can say river plastic waste, or temple plastic waste to uh, back to the co-processing and waste to energy. I'll say that is one of the important areas which can which can save the import bills of India, where we can see that there is a high fluctuation in the crude oil prices today also and around the year, which will definitely help the import bill of India and balance of payments thereof. And secondly, the recycling of such plastic waste is already a part of EPR, where even the cement industries has also to contribute and serve it, recycle industries to some extent, by giving a share of the liability thereof through giving them plastics to recycle them. So, a lot of efforts now have to be made at the ground to standardize the machinery and equipments for processing it, and secondly, for setting up the guidelines for quality plastic waste, and developing infrastructure at source, especially the major, 300 million tons of dumps which are there in India, and maybe around 100, 150 dumps across India, which having a major quantity to be co-processed, either through biomining or through any other way. And then the municipal MRF centers, where we need to equip them with required machineries, which can co-process it, dry it out, and then being transported to the respective place of waste to energy or to the recyclers. I think this is what I just wanted to share. And such conferences will definitely help us to share our views and see that how we can get the people across this this conference, where we can again collaborate and take this mission to a different height. Thank you very much.